Is this the downfall of the military-industrial complex? The private market is rapidly gaining momentum in terms of deal volume and value for supplying Western governments with military equipment. Will this finally slay the legacy manufacturers that Eisenhower warned us about? Let's find out in this Modern Problems YouTube channel video. While reading the Daily Upside newsletter this week, I saw an article about the acceleration of venture capital funding towards defense startups in Europe, written from the perspective of the NATO Innovation Fund, NIF. While not entirely shocked, I found it incredibly intriguing that as European governments are expanding their military budgets, up 11.7% overall year over year, including 23.2% in Germany and about 17% in Poland. VC fundraising has been comprising an increasingly large proportion of this funding, at around $5 billion dollars in 2024. Although it is still just about a percent of the total funding, 450 billion, it is quite consequential when considering that this private capital is compared to rather large government programs, including supporting worldwide navies, pensions, and standing armies. Thus, this trend cannot be ignored, as it's certain to have consequences for military innovation, as well as the legacy military-industrial companies that have been riding the wave of spending following Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022. So let's look at this trend. In recent years, we've seen a surge of innovative startups entering the aerospace and defense sector. Companies like Anduril, Palantir, and SpaceX are now established players challenging the status quo. These firms have rather successfully brought Silicon Valley-style innovation to defense, focusing on areas like autonomous systems and drones, cybersecurity, and space technology. For instance, Anduril secured contracts worth over $1 billion for its AI-powered defense systems, partnering with Peter Thiel's Palantir to expand AI capabilities in military data management, decision-making, and targeting solutions. Meanwhile, Palantir stock itself has been on a rip since Trump's inauguration, largely due to the perceived value of Peter Thiel's maybe good relationship with Trump and the potential for future government contracts on top of its improving products for the corporate world. Now firms like Shield AI, who we'll come back to later, and Modern Intelligence are new unicorns bringing a unique combination of high-tech and military experience to the market. These large American firms have established themselves as industry giants, proving that the innovative tech/SaaS business model and culture is viable in a defense role. The success of these firms in attaining market dominance in digital and tech solutions for defense has ushered in a sound VC ecosystem for the defense industry, representing tens of billions of dollars of capital at work. Venture capital is playing a crucial role in fueling this movement, providing the capital and expertise for startups looking to fill in the innovation gaps that exist due to years of military-industrial domination from legacy giants like Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and RTX. As the pace of innovation has increased, these bloated companies have struggled to keep up, more focused on soaking up fat government contracts and overcharging for soap dispensers on cargo planes. This opportunity, compounded by the nature of technological innovation in the 21st century, think drones in Ukraine, cybersecurity, etc., has created the perfect storm for a new wave of VC-backed defense companies. Looking at the past few years, in 2024, VC investment in defense tech reached $35.8 billion dollars globally, up from just $1.9 billion a decade earlier, an 18x increase in volume. And there's the NATO Innovation Fund, launched in 2022, which aimed to invest 1 billion euros in early-stage startups and deep tech funds. This is an example of government support for this new style of defense contracting. This influx of capital is creating a plethora of opportunities for startups, particularly in the US and Europe, where demand is high and the conditions are favorable for smaller, more agile companies. These smaller organizations are more fine-tuned for the cost-focused, rapidly evolving battlefield that we're seeing in Ukraine, with quick innovations in drone technology, advanced warfare, and cybersecurity. The US and its allies have not stood by idly, watching FPVs and quadcopters rain down terror, hence the rush into these technologies for large Western armies. The question is, how will large governments and their years-long relationships with contractors fare in this new environment? It's clear that the rise of VC-backed defense tech startups is putting pressure on traditional contractors, as these legacy companies are being forced to innovate and adapt to keep up with nimble startups. Some are establishing their own venture arms or acquiring startups to stay competitive. For example, Lockheed Martin has invested in over 200 startups through its venture arm. However, it's important to note that traditional contractors still have significant advantages. They have decades of experience in navigating complex defense procurement processes, they have established relationships with government agencies, and they have the massive infrastructure in place for large-scale production. This last point is particularly important, especially as the US is upsizing its navy in anticipation of a near-peer conflict with China over Taiwan, looking to hit a number of 381 warships, up from its current level of 297. There are also plans for an additional 134 unmanned vessels, highlighting the sheer scale of these ambitions. No startup can necessarily compete with large shipbuilding players like General Dynamics and Huntington Ingalls. However, there is certainly a role to play. For example, there's software development for these ships, IoT and digital transformation initiatives, and advanced materials applications. Hence, startups will be viable even in capex-heavy businesses that the legacy contractors will continue to spearhead. There's also certain to be significant geopolitical implications for this trend. So first, it's enabling Western countries to accelerate their defense modernization efforts, especially in places like Germany. There's also potential for faster development of advanced military technologies to alter the global balance of power. For example, the Baltic nations have an opportunity to play an upsized role relative to their GDP in terms of NATO power dynamics. On the flip side, you can see how geopolitics is actually influencing this trend itself. For instance, the demand for light combat transport vehicles in Ukraine, stemming from geopolitical tensions obviously, represents a novel area where legacy manufacturers and startups, such as in the case of Rheinmetall and REEQ, working on battery-powered manned and unmanned vehicles, demonstrating how large companies are benefiting from collaborations, or an acquisition in this case, of such with startups to rapidly implement modern technology. Furthermore, we're seeing companies in Ukraine responding to the Russian existential threat, with big names like Terminal Autonomy emerging to produce smarter kamikaze drones that are mass producible without draining resources. Naturally, the rise in geopolitical tension spawns innovation, creating an increase in defense-focused startup activity. This is the trend I foresee continuing for the near future, as companies are responding to the need for innovation by the evolving threat environment. Now let's look at a case study of a real defense startup that has grown significantly over the past few years, and that's going to be Shield AI, a company focused on revolutionizing defense with AI pilots. So Shield AI is a cutting-edge defense technology company founded in 2015 by former Navy SEAL Brandon Sang with his brother Ryan Sang and Andrew Ryder in San Diego, California. The company's mission is to protect service members and civilians by developing advanced autonomous systems powered by artificial intelligence. So let's explore how Shield AI is reshaping the defense landscape. First, let's look at their origin and mission statement. So the idea for Shield AI was born from Brandon Sang's experiences in Afghanistan, where his unit faced casualties due to inadequate reconnaissance of hostile environments. This inspired the creation of an AI-powered solution to enhance situational awareness and reduce risk for soldiers. With an initial $100,000 seed fund, the team began developing their flagship product, Nova, an autonomous quadcopter drone designed for reconnaissance in GPS and communications denied environments. Now, as the company evolved, so has their product suite. So, their current core innovation is its HiveMind AI Pilot, a combat-proven autonomy software that enables drones and aircraft to operate without GPS, communication, or even human pilots. HiveMind uses advanced algorithms for mapping, planning, and real-time decision-making, making it capable of executing complex tasks such as taking control of F-16s and soon to be other platforms like the F-22 and F-18 to dogfight real-life pilots, penetrating air defense systems with either fighter jets or drones, and coordinating swarm operations with multiple drones. From there, Shield AI also has Nova 2, which is the advanced quadcopter drone used for reconnaissance and close quarters combat (CQB), as well as the VBAT, a vertical takeoff and landing or VTOL aircraft capable of autonomous flight operations for surveillance missions. These drones are mass producible, designed for combat durability and modularity of its sensor and payload suites. Another critical feature of the VBAT is its swarm or VBAT team capability to overload enemy air defenses with volume and an advanced technology stack based on NVIDIA architecture, all while being relatively affordable. for military procurement. In 2024, Shield AI demonstrated its autonomous teaming capabilities by deploying four VBAT drones to conduct coordinated missions, showcasing its potential for military applications. The company indicates that the size of a swarm will continue growing as development progresses. Now thinking of its impact on modern warfare, Shield AI's technology has been a game changer for military operations. So first, in its combat applications, Nova drones have been deployed by U.S. Special Forces Operations Command since 2018, providing real-time intelligence in dangerous environments. These drones can autonomously navigate multi-story buildings and subterranean spaces while streaming high-resolution video to soldiers on the ground. For air superiority, HiveMind-powered planes have engaged in simulated dogfights against F-16 fighter pilots, demonstrating their ability to outperform human operators in aerial combat scenarios. And finally, thinking about its global reach beyond the US, Shield AI has partnered with allied nations like Brazil and Canada to supply its advanced systems, further solidifying its role as a global leader in defense autonomy. Additionally, Sang has released information showing VBAT's success in the highly active electronic warfare environment in Ukraine, suggesting combat success for the drone. Looking at the company's strategic partnerships and growth trajectory, Shield AI has strategically partnered with major defense contractors like Boeing and Northrop Grumman to integrate its AI technologies into existing platforms. This collaboration allows Shield AI to scale rapidly while leveraging the resources of established players. Additionally, the company has secured significant funding from venture capital firms such as Andreessen Horowitz and Breyer Capital, raising hundreds of millions of dollars to accelerate its expansion efforts. This suggests Shield AI may be the new model for defense innovation, capturing the benefits of partnerships with both legacy defense contractors and working with top innovators from successful venture capital firms. Thinking about its challenges as well as its future outlook, Shield AI's innovations are transforming defense capabilities. However, some challenges still remain. So first is operational complexity, as integrating autonomous systems into existing military frameworks require overcoming technical and logistical hurdles, as well as there's ethical considerations, as the use of fully autonomous systems raises questions about accountability in combat scenarios, and this is an area we really don't know too much about at the moment, but will certainly be developing in the future. And then looking ahead, Shield AI aims to expand the applications of its HiveMind software across various military assets, including ships and satellites. By 2030, the company envisions AI pilots powering every major military platform. Overall, Shield AI exemplifies how private sector innovation is reshaping the defense industry. By combining cutting-edge technology with a mission-driven approach, it is not only challenging traditional defense contractors, but also redefining what modern warfare looks like. Despite the enthusiasm, there are some concerns about the model that have yet to be mitigated, including first, security and regulation. So the involvement of private companies in sensitive defense technologies raises security concerns naturally. So governments are grappling with how to balance innovation with national security interests. Then there's the long-term versus short-term focus. So venture capitalists are typically looking for quick returns, in the 5 to 10 year range, which may not align with the long-term nature of many defense projects. As well as there's integration issues, as startups may struggle to integrate their technologies into the existing defense systems, as well as the procurement processes. And finally, there's the ethical concerns, as the increased privatization of defense technologies raises ethical questions about the role of profit-driven entities in national security, especially for investors, so limited partners in venture capital funds, who are going to be increasingly scrutinizing of the nature of the investments made with their capital. Thus, when thinking about the future of defense innovation, there's certainly a lot that remains to be seen. So, when analyzing the future, we can definitely expect continued growth as the trend of VC investment in defense tech is likely to continue, driven by, of course, geopolitical tensions as well as technological advancements. We're definitely going to see continued collaboration between startups and traditional defense contractors, which combine that innovation we are really looking for with the experience of the legacy firms, as well as shifting government policies, as governments are likely to adapt their procurement processes to better accommodate the innovation models of startups. And then there's global competition. So, as countries, particularly China, invest heavily in defense tech, we can expect increased global competition in this space as a sort of new Cold War has emerged. So, in conclusion, is this the downfall of the military industrial complex? Well, not quite. It's more of an evolution, I would say. The traditional defense industry is not going away, but it is being forced to adapt and innovate. The influx of VC funding and the rise of defense tech startups are reshaping the landscape of military technology and procurement, and this trend has the potential to drive faster innovation, likely reducing costs as well as changing the nature of warfare itself. However, it of course brings challenges and raises important questions about security, ethics, and the role of private companies as well as private investors in national defense. As we move forward, the key will be finding the right balance between innovation and security, as well as thinking about the balance of private sector agility and public sector oversight, although it looks like we're seeing a merging of the two with Elon Musk and his Doge efforts. Ultimately, though, the military industrial complex isn't falling, it's just transforming. And the implications of this transformation will be felt not just in defense, but in geopolitics, global security, as well as in financial markets for years to come. So, what do you think about this trend? Are you excited about the potential for innovation, or are you concerned about the increased privatization of defense? Would you invest in a venture capital fund that's supporting these startups? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching this Modern Problems YouTube channel video. Have a great rest of your day.